Do you ever have the urge to change your life, but there's a little voice that says, nah, it's too late. You're too old. Well, I'm here to tell you, you're not too old and it's not too late. The only time it's too late is when you're on your deathbed. I'm Celeste, and I'm here to tell you, I just blew my life up. At 59, I moved from Los Angeles to Maine, and I feel so strongly about women especially who get that urge to change their lives and they just have these limiting beliefs that keep them from doing it. Okay, we have all been programmed, conditioned, brainwashed, whatever you want to call it, to not believe in the true power that we have. I grew up in a funeral home. I mentioned this a little bit in yesterday's video. And so from a very young age, I saw a lot of death and all ages of people who had died. And I also watched my dad, who was stressed out all the time because not only is the funeral business extremely sad, as you would imagine, you're dealing with people at the saddest time of their life. He was also on call 24 hours a day because, as we all know, death doesn't have a timeline. Death happens whenever. And that is my message, is life truly is short. And if you have an urge to do something, do it. Do not hesitate. Do it in spite of the fear. Do it in spite of the doubt, because I'm telling you, all that doubt and fear is just subconscious programming. Last year, I became a certified brain coach because I wanted to understand how our brains work. I had done so much work on transforming my life because I had been broke for years. I felt stuck for years. I couldn't understand why I struggled so much. So I started doing all this research and reading a lot of books, and I'm very big on reading books. And I found out the power of our subconscious mind. And so because I finally started to understand, like, that is where all our limiting beliefs are, is in our subconscious mind. And that all comes from when we're young and we're programmed. We're programmed from our parents. We're programmed from school, from religion, from society, and especially women. Women are taught to stay small and to do the right thing and follow the path that everybody expects you to do. Well, where has that gotten you? You know, that has gotten so many people to a point in their lives when they're in their 50s where they're like, what happened to my life? I'm here and this is not what I wanted my life to be. And I've always been a risk taker by nature because I watched my dad and because I watched so many people around just like leading these unfulfilling lives because they were taught to do that. And I was like, well, I'm not doing that. I'm going to have fun with my life, which I have. I pursued my performing career. I was a dancer, singer, comedian, but I also ended up broke for years. I struggled for years. And so I was always willing to take risks and still am, but I was like, I got to figure out, I can't live like this. So I've got to figure it out. So I've done a lot of work on understanding our minds and the power of our programming. And by the way, I have notes, so don't mind if I consult my notes. Anyway, the other thing about women is we become so much more interesting as we age. Sure, it's nice when you're in your 20s and your 30s and you look great and all, but once you go through some real life shit, that's when you become really interesting. For example, I went to 2 years of high school to this private all-girls Catholic college prep school, and I hated it. And all the girls there seemed kind of snobby, and I just didn't like it. Well, I met up with them a few years ago, and wow, they went from seeming snobby to super interesting. I mean, one of them had been married, and her husband had a whole other family. Some other woman had broken her neck and had a drug-addicted daughter. And I was like, wow, these women have real stories. And so we all do. We all have a story to tell, a very interesting story. And I think people at our age, especially women, just become more interesting. And so if you're sitting there with this urge to like do something different, but there's a fear holding you back, I'm here to tell you, don't let it hold you back. Do it in spite of the fear. Blow up your life. Who cares? I moved from LA to Maine. I had a successful sales career. I just published a book recently. Well, I had a book published last year, which, do I have a copy here? I'm going to tell you about it. But I moved from LA to Maine with no job, no means of income, but I was like, I'll figure it out because now I have the confidence, I have the knowledge, I have the skills, and I can do it. And so I just want everyone to know you can do it. Anyone who's over 50, who's like feeling scared to take a risk, take the risk. Whatever it is, go on the trip, leave the relationship, leave the job, quit, move, whatever it may be, just do it because you don't want to die with regrets. My dad always said, nobody on their deathbed said they wish they spent more time at the office. And even though my dad wasn't really around people on their deathbed, he was with them after their deathbed. He spent a lot of time with the people who were with the people that were on their deathbed. And as much as he was a firm believer in that, he was a man that got stuck in that whole, I'm doing what people expect of me. And I think my mom did too. My mom was definitely a little more questioning, but you have to look at your parents' lives and see what they did. And then they probably passed on that belief to you. This is what you do. You go to school and then you get married and then you get a job and you have kids and there's a formula that we have been taught to follow. Well, I was determined not to follow that formula, and I didn't. I mean, my life has been, I had 50 day jobs. I've been a singer, dancer, comedian, writer. I've done it all because I was not afraid to take risks. However, I still had a tremendous amount of struggle. But the struggle is what makes us interesting, right? The struggle is what gives our lives substance. It's, if life was easy, nobody would learn anything. It's the hard stuff that makes it worth telling the story. It's the stuff we learn from. And I've learned some heavy duty lessons. And one of them is to take the risk. And so that's why I decided to get on YouTube again, because number one, I don't have a job right now. And I'm going all in on YouTube. I'm going to start making videos and really sharing my story, because what I really want for everybody is to live a happier life. We were given this amazing planet to live in, but then we were programmed to do this like factory style life where there's a formula. No, you know what? I believe we're all creative geniuses. We are born creative geniuses, and then we are taught and programmed with limiting beliefs. No, we don't want you to be an individual. No, we don't want you to be creative. We want you to follow a formula. And that formula is to make other people money and to give you disempowering beliefs so that you don't become the person. Imagine if we had the power, if we all knew how powerful we were, we would be living in a completely different world and a much better world and a more fun world. But there is a small group of people that wants to control everything and everyone, and they instill in us, and they've done it for generations. This is why it's not like it's new to our generation. This has been done for generations. And so it just keeps getting passed down because it's the beliefs that generations have had. And I'm going to do a separate video. I said it yesterday. I'm going to do a separate video on when I really learned about how brainwashed we all are. And it was like, once I understood that, I could see it. I could see it everywhere. I saw all the brainwashing in so many different ways, everywhere from school to Hollywood to religion. It is all ways to control us or to make us believe what someone else wants us to believe. It's so sick, honestly. Anyway, the message of this video today is to take the risk. If you have the feeling to do something and you're hesitant, you're afraid, you're doubtful, you're like, oh, I don't know, I'm too old, it's too scary, do it. Do it. Do not die with regrets. Take the chance. Take the risk. What's the worst that can happen? You're in your 50s. You're resilient. You'll figure it out. We're not young kids anymore and don't know, our head from our ass. Do it. Take the risk. Life is worth living. And if you like this video, I hope you like and subscribe and come back for more. See you next time.